Majesty. My brother has no opinion of his own. It is Achilles that favours Pompey, and he does so with only a soldier's eye. He sees only Caesar fighting fires in Rome and a large force awaiting him in Greece. But I have watched these men for years. Pompey is clever enough, and certainly a strong commander. But Caesar has been trapped, beaten, captured, threatened with legal trouble and betrayed. And yet who stands in Rome with a senate of his own choosing? The man is watched over by gods. As I am Isis, so he is the grandson of Venus. Yes, Caesar is the one to watch, not Pompey. But I will not ink my pen until we see how this coming spring falls out. Now leave me. The functionary bowed low and retreated from the room. Yes, it was going to be interesting to see how Caesar wriggled out of his latest predicaments, but the Queen was certain of one thing. Wriggle out of them he would. Part 1. Titans. Dyrrachium, 48 BC. Chapter 1. Rome, 5th of December, 49 BC. Fronto hurried through the atrium, nodding absently at Hirtius, who stood in tight, hushed conversation with a senator. The dismounted cavalrymen of Aulus Ingenuus's unit standing to either side of the door, looking oddly out of place without their swords and armour, straightened at the sight of the senior officer approaching. Both men's fingers touched the tip of the club at their side, but remained still. "The general is free?" One of the men nodded. "He is, sir. Not in the best of moods, though. I can imagine." Fronto strode in between them, clacking along the connecting corridor in his nailed boots. With the family still safely out of the way in Tarraco, he had fallen back easily into old military habits, foregoing the soft leather shoes he had taken to wearing in the city. Painted marble faces of the Julii, going back 100 years, watched him with frowns of disapproval. He hurried past them, trying not to feel judged by their implacable features. Yes, the general would be in a bad mood. The news was all over Rome, if only as a dozen vague and often conflicting rumours. Yet it seemed certain to be true in basis, if not in the detail. While he visited Caesar, Galronus waited outside, absorbing every new rumour that passed. The general was seated in his office, wrapped neatly in a purple-bordered toga worn over the top of a military-cut tunic of plain white. His fingers were drumming on the arm of the curule chair, which was a clear sign of his irritation, even if Fronto hadn't been able to recognize the look on the man's face. His eyes were shadowed, with dark circles, too. Caesar slept little anyway, so to acquire this colour, he must barely touch the bed at all before he was back up and working. He was beginning to look slightly unhealthy to Fronto's mind. The sooner he was back out in the open air on a horse, the better. Some men were not born to be inside. Fronto cleared his throat. The greatest figure in the Republic turned to the new arrival, and Fronto instinctively bowed his head in respectful greeting. His history with the general had had its highs and lows, but no one now could deny the man's greatness. Conqueror of Gaul, restorer of Hispania, master of Rome, but so much more. His consulate, so long sought in Gaul and the reason for crossing the Rubicon last year, had been confirmed. In the new year, he would share the consulate with Servilius Vatia Isauricus, a pliable nonentity who owed Caesar much. And more impressive than the consulate even, the Senate had voted to make Caesar dictator, a move confirmed by the present consuls, with a remit to restore the Republic and repair Rome and Italia following the depredations of the previous year. Much of that work would be at the root of the general's stress and sleeplessness, and it seemed likely to Fronto that as soon as Caesar could, he would see that remit fulfilled and the position resigned in favour of more pressing matters. It was all very impressive, and, to the average man on the street,